All right, so welcome everyone. My name is Darko, and I am a health coach, and I coach on the physical and mental health. So right now, before you, you can see one of my clients who I've helped. Name's Karen,
Hi.
and Karen is a really cool entrepreneur. She lives in Vancouver, Canada, and she is a pole instructor and also a strength and flexibility coach. That's correct, right?
Yes, correct.
And so in a short time of working together in the last 2 months, we've helped Karen increase her confidence being online and trusting someone online, because that was a big thing, and identifying the limiting beliefs that were holding her back. Okay, so we're going to go into a bit of her story and how she was able to transform and what she's doing now with her business and her life. So Karen, thank you for coming and doing this. First of all.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you do? What's your business?
My business is I'm a personal trainer, so I focus on strength and flexibility, and I love helping women feel stronger and empowering them. I'm also a pole instructor, so area anything to do with hoop, silks, pole, and I sort of came around to seeing your story, and it was meant to be a 10-minute sort of interview that turned into an hour and a half, and they actually challenged me a little bit more. So I like a challenge. I felt a little bit scared, and I was like, hey, am I able to trust someone online? But then from day one, it just felt very comfortable in sort of like goal setting, just seeing kind of like where it was going. But, yeah.
So what was the problem that you had like prior to joining me?
Prior to joining, I mean, as you mentioned, it was just kind of putting myself out there and like the limiting beliefs and going into that, like all of that. As a result, just comes from childhood or just the limitations that you grow up with. And I think it's just exploring them as to why they were holding me back. And then with the small tasks that you gave me week by week, exploring that and just taking some time to really like go into them. I think that's what, like the small challenges definitely helped.
Yeah, so you had the block of like putting yourself out there online, right?
Yes, putting myself out there, just talking to the camera. I think that's one of the main things. My brain starts switching into Spanish mode and talking in Spanish instead. Oh, I think that's one of like the main problems, and just being okay with like presenting myself out there online in a way that feels authentic to me. So I think that's one of the main things, that on social you see so much information. So you're like, oh, why should I do it? Or how can I do it? Or how am I any different? Or can I put any value? Can I offer any value? Or am I enough to be able to offer my services and my advice to those around me? So.
Yeah, and we're working on all these things, right? Like the stories that you had and getting you clear on your limiting beliefs and the stories that you think about yourself that you weren't aware of, right?
Correct. Yeah, I think I mean, I've gone into therapy before, but it's just going into those beliefs a little bit deeper, and then just seeing how some of this does get trapped in your DNA, and just reliving those moments and just going through it and like really analyzing it, just taking my time. It just helps you kind of move forward when that confidence comes along with it.
Yeah. So why did you choose to join me specifically?
I think for one, it wasn't too serious from day one. Like I felt like I could relate to your story. You're from London. I was from London as well, and you're abroad. I'm abroad. So I thought, well, okay, there's some similarities there where we've both traveled abroad. And just the content that you put out, it felt real. So some of the YouTubes that you've done and like the podcasts, they're very interesting. So I was like, okay, well, this is someone that's definitely gone into more depth, and you tend to speak more online, which is something that I'm sort of struggling to do. So I was like, okay, well, that's the skill that I want to be able to have one day. So just reaching out to someone that already has it. And
yeah. And you're really good at that, actually. This is what I've noticed, just an aside, is identifying who has what you want and just going and seeking them out. Like you do that in your pole, in your handstands, like all that, the flexibility training, like you've done that lots of times.
Yeah. So it's rather than spending 5 years trying to look for the solution, it's just like going straight to the source. And to me, it's just much quicker than trying to figure it out for yourself. Like you can do a lot by yourself, but you know, you can go a little bit further if you just ask for help. And I think that's one of the main things in the last couple of years that I've learned to do, is just ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable, and if you don't know, you don't know, and just learn to be better.
Yeah. And I know you touched on it a little bit, but when you look back at the work we done together, was there anything that really stands out? It's like, wow, like that was like really like that really helped me. That one thing like really helped.
I think like the main thing for me is just the limiting beliefs. Just seeing how much they were ingrained. The fears that I had about speaking online or just putting myself out there, just the family issues that was going into it, and then just the small tasks that you gave me. It's like, hey, we're just going to do small tasks, just talking to the camera bit by bit and just working through that. And I think some of the main questions that you asked at the beginning, just reflecting through them, that helped. So.
Awesome. So what's been the outcome then? Like, how has that helped you now moving forward? Moving forward,
I mean, the website's on the way. I've got 2 programs on the way. I mean, I went away for a while as well, and sort of just reflected on everything that we were speaking. Like, first part, it was just a lot of inner work. Took a bit of a break. Second part, came back and started doing more work into what the actual goal setting was. So it's just getting clearer on the why, and just it's telling your story. I think that's one of the main things, rather than just putting yourself out there. Hey, I'm a strength and flexibility coach. It's like, what storytelling and how can you relate to people? So the storytelling, that to me was one of the main important things, how you can relate to people online and just know that you can add that value.
Yeah. And if you didn't do this, where do you think, what would your reality be now? Like, if you didn't decide to join the program?
It would have taken me a bit longer.
Yeah.
I think it was just something that initially I did want to do, but I kept on holding it back. I mean, until you posted like on your story, it's like, hey, you know, would you be interested in working? I replied, and since then it started going. But it was in the back of my mind, but it might have taken me maybe another 6 months or maybe another year, rather than doing it now.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for your New Year's resolution in January.
Yeah. So if there's anyone watching now that's on the fence about, like, you know, speaking with me, enrolling in one of my programs, like, what would you say to them?
I would say you take your time and really listen and understanding the story, and really trying to connect and giving them insights into how they view themselves and how you can help them by changing those small beliefs. So I think like communicating is one of your main strengths, and really putting yourself in other people's shoes by being an empath.
Thanks. I think that's a different question then, because I was like, if someone is like in 2 minds about whether they want to like continue, let's say, if they're like, oh, you know, they're just on the fence, they're not sure if they want to actually take the leap and reach out to me and, you know, do what you did and actually, you know, get on the phone, what would you say to them?
Do it. Like, if it's scaring you, you should do it. Like, if you're questioning about, if you've never had it before, at least try it. And you can always back away, but it's just, if something's scaring you or you're doubting it, it's because it's not clear. So if you want sort of clearer goals, definitely just reach out.
Yeah. And so what's next for you then? What's coming up for you?
I mean, like I mentioned, I have the website coming up, I have the programs coming up. I mean, the goal is to be able to have my own online business, which, you know, it's one of the main things, like, to set up and just putting myself authentically out there. That's one of the main things.
And are you happy with how you're showing up now online?
I am. I stopped giving it about too many things.
Yeah.
So what is. But yeah. I think if you're just true to yourself, you'll connect to the people and they'll come around. Like, you don't need to have 1 million followers. You just need to be smart about it. And even if you get clients online or one-to-one, which I've been able to get like 4 clients in the last 2 months that have been working. Nice. So it's been good.
Yeah. And so, for anyone watching, like, if you want to get similar results to Karen and you want to get more clarity, because what you just said there is like, if you're doubting it, that means you're not clear. That's so true, right? Like, and if people want to get clarity, like, it's hard to just get clarity by yourself oftentimes. So you need someone who can ask you questions that you've never thought to ask yourself, to reveal where you're not seeing clearly and just help you get unstuck, right? So yeah.
Someone that's not in your circle to question you. Because I think some of the conversations we've had, you know, you can have them with your partners, with your relatives, with your friends, but somehow it goes in one ear, comes out the other. But reaching out to a coach, something like, oh wow, they say it in a particular way that makes sense for you. And I think that's the difference. Like, you can hear it 100 times, but until someone says it in the correct way, then you can't really connect to understand what the problem or the issues.
Yeah. So I think clarity is the main thing, right? Like, because when we're clear, we just take action. Like when we're not clear, there's resistance, and we don't do what we want to do because there's something stopping us, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah. And I think, like, my physical goals, I've always been very clear as to how to get them. But then in that regard, it's always been good. But it was like, okay, what's my current belief or what's holding me back? And I wasn't too clear on what it was holding me back. So I was like, okay, that's what I need to work on. So, some more public speaking.
Yeah, you're doing great. Like, I'm just, as you're talking now, I'm like, wow, this is like complete change from when we first started talking. You know, like you're super chilled, relaxed, like you're not twiddling your fingers.
I'm not previously, I'll be ripping off my calluses and whatnot. It's all good.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I can clearly see the growth, and it's really good to see. And seeing you do more of the things that we've been working on is really good. So yeah, continue doing that, and then see where you are in a few months. It's gonna be good to see.
Yes, thank you. Maybe in Bali.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you coming to Bali. Yeah, I forgot about that. All right. Well, if anyone else, if you're watching this and you want to get more clarity, go ahead and click the link below this video, book a free call, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Karen. Appreciate it.
Sweet. Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias.